The massive ship appeared suddenly in Earth's sky one Tuesday morning. Silence fell across the planet as billions looked up. News channels switched to emergency broadcasts, and governments scrambled their military forces. Ambassador Tejo stood on the bridge of the Federation vessel, six purple eyes blinking as he studied the blue planet below. His gray skin shimmered under the ship's lights as he turned to his aide. "Jaiwo, what do our scans show?" he asked. Jaiwo, smaller and with only 4 eyes, checked the glowing screens. "Surprising results, Ambassador. These humans have nuclear power, global communication networks, and basic space travel capabilities." Tejo clicked his mandibles in surprise. The report said they were primitive tool users. "This changes our approach." Within hours, the Federation ship broadcast a message in all Earth languages: "We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Federation. We request a meeting with your world leaders." At the United Nations headquarters in New York, leaders from major nations gathered hastily. President Kim of the Global Alliance paced the room, her face tense but determined. "We must present a united front," she told the assembled leaders. "This is humanity's first contact with alien life. History watches us today." The Federation landing craft descended exactly at noon, touching down on the UN Plaza. Security forces formed a perimeter, their weapons ready but lowered. Television cameras broadcast the moment live to the entire planet. Ambassador Tejo emerged first. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, his slender frame and six-eyed face caused gasps from the human observers. 5 more aliens followed him, each carrying strange devices. President Kim stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," she said, keeping her voice steady. "I am President Kim, representing the nations of Earth." Tejo bowed slightly. "I am Ambassador Tejo of the Galactic Federation. We have traveled far to meet your species." The aliens were escorted into the UN building for the first official meeting between humanity and extraterrestrial life. Inside, Tejo explained the Federation's purpose. "Our alliance includes 127 spacefaring species from across this galactic sector," he said. "We seek peaceful cooperation and trade between worlds." The human leaders asked many questions. How had the aliens found Earth? What did they want? Were there threats in space humans should know about? Tejo answered carefully, but his aide Jaiwu noticed something interesting about the humans. While other species usually showed fear or submission during first contact, these humans displayed curiosity and confidence despite their technological disadvantage. During a break in the talks, Jaiwu approached Tejo privately. "These humans are unusual, Ambassador. They show no appropriate deference." Tejo nodded. "I've noticed. They negotiate as if they were our equals, not a newly discovered species. Should we remind them of their place?" Jaiwu suggested. "No," Tejo said thoughtfully. "There's something interesting about them. Did you notice how quickly they organized their response to our arrival? Most species take days to form a coherent greeting party." Later that day, the Federation representatives were given a tour of New York City. They watched humans of different colors and backgrounds living together, working together, arguing, laughing, and creating. "Their art is surprisingly complex," Jaiwu noted as they passed a street musician. "And they have so many different types of music." Tejo stopped to watch a group of children playing basketball in a park. "Look at their physical coordination and teamwork," he said. "And earlier I observed their soldiers. Despite their obvious physical weaknesses compared to many Federation species, they carry themselves with unusual confidence." That evening, as the alien delegation returned to their ship, Tejo called an urgent meeting with his command staff. "We must reconsider our assessment of humanity," he told them. "They may appear physically weak and technologically behind us, but there's something unusual about them. Their adaptability, their creativity, their strange mix of cooperation and competition." The ship's science officer spoke up. "Could they be useful against the Void Collective? That threat grows stronger each cycle." Tejo looked out the viewport at the twinkling lights of Earth below. "Perhaps. They have qualities I've not seen in other species. They may surprise us all." He made his decision. Prepare the formal invitation for Earth to join the Federation. Not as a protected planet, but as a provisional member with full rights. Jaiwo looked shocked. But Ambassador, that's unprecedented for a species at their development stage. Sometimes, Tejo said quietly, unprecedented challenges require unprecedented allies. I sense humanity will change everything. 6 months after Earth joined the Galactic Federation, Captain Miho stood on the bridge of the human warship Resilience. He watched as the stars blurred into streaks of light during the jump to Outpost 7. The Federation had requested human help with this remote station, which had sent distress signals before going silent. Jump complete, Captain, said Lieutenant Era, her fingers moving over the glowing control panel. Miho nodded. Scan the outpost. The main screen showed a small planet with a Federation base on its northern continent. Around it floated several dark ships with jagged edges. Void collective vessels, Miho said grimly. They've found the outpost. The Void Collective was a mysterious enemy that had been attacking Federation worlds for decades. They left only destruction in their wake, turning living planets into dead rocks. Earth had learned about this threat during the first contact negotiations. Federation fleet signals detected, Era reported. Commander Subin's battle group is already engaged. Miho remembered Commander Subin well. The blue-skin alien had made his opinion of humans very clear during joint training exercises. Humans are too weak for real combat, Subin had said 3 weeks earlier, his forearms crossed over his chest. Your species lacks natural armor, has poor vision, and tires too quickly. You should stay in support roles. Now Subin's fleet was in trouble. The tactical display showed the Federation ships trapped between the planet and the Void forces. They're using standard Federation tactics, Miho observed. Predictable formation, predictable responses. He turned to his crew, all humans selected for this first combat mission. The Federation trained us their way, but today we fight our way. Humanity has been waging war against itself for thousands of years. We know things they don't. Miho ordered an unusual approach. Instead of joining the main battle, the Resilience dropped out of faster-than-light travel behind one of the planet's moons, hiding their energy signature. Load all shock missiles, Miho commanded. Prepare boarding teams. The executive officer looked surprised. Boarding teams, sir? Federation protocol says. We're not following protocol today, Miho interrupted. The Void expects that. They can counter it. They won't expect humans. The Resilience moved silently around the moon, approaching the battle from below the main plane of engagement. When they were in position, Miho gave the order. Fire all missiles, then full thrust toward the largest Void ship. The shock missiles exploded not against the Void ships, but in the space between them, creating a chaotic energy field that confused their sensors. In that moment of confusion, the Resilience accelerated directly toward the main enemy vessel. They're twice our size, Era said nervously. Miho smiled. Size isn't everything. The human ship fired precisely at the Void vessel's weapon systems, then executed a maneuver no Federation ship could perform. They rolled sideways while continuing forward momentum, presenting a smaller target while maintaining their course. When they were alongside the enemy ship, Miho gave his most controversial order: launch boarding parties. 20 human soldiers in specialized suits shot across the void of space, magnetic boots allowing them to land on the dark hull of the enemy vessel. They cut their way inside while the Resilience provided covering fire. Commander Subin watched in disbelief from his damaged flagship. What are the humans doing? This is suicide. But 15 minutes later, the main Void ship suddenly stopped firing. Its engines flared randomly, then went dark. The other Void ships, suddenly uncertain, began to retreat. Miho's voice came over the communication channel. Commander Subin, this is Captain Miho. We've captured the Void command ship. My team has secured their central database. We're downloading their battle plans now. 2 hours later, in the damaged Federation outpost, Commander Subin approached Miho. The Federation officer's usual arrogance was gone. How did you know such tactics would work? He asked. Miho looked tired but satisfied. Humans have been fighting each other since we could walk upright. We've learned that the unexpected often succeeds where standard approaches fail. He handed Subin a data crystal. The Void's next targets, their supply lines, and their command structure. Everything we took from their computers. Subin's eyes widened. This is unprecedented. No one has ever captured Void intelligence before. Perhaps you needed a different perspective, Miho said. The Federation fights with honor and follows rules. The Void expects that. Humans know that in survival situations, you sometimes need to break the rules. Commander Subin studied the human captain with new respect. I was wrong about your species, Captain Miho. The Federation needs humans more than we realized. Miho smiled tiredly. We're just getting started. Jai-Hai adjusted her formal diplomatic uniform one last time before entering the Grand Hall of Cultural Exchange on the Federation capital world. The massive domed building housed representatives from over 200 alien species. Today marked the first official human cultural presentation to the Federation Assembly. Nervous, asked Juno, her assistant, carrying cases of Earth artifacts. A little, Jai-Hai admitted. We're the newest members of the Federation. Everyone will be watching us closely. The room fell silent as they entered. Aliens of every shape and size turned to observe the humans. Some had multiple eyes, others tentacles or wings. The diversity was breathtaking. Elder Doyen, the Federation's cultural minister, approached them. His tall, slender body moved gracefully despite his apparent age, skin shifting through soft blue and green colors. Cultural Ambassador Jai-Hai, he greeted her with a formal bow. The assembly awaits your presentation on human culture. Jai-Hai took her position at the center of the room. A circular platform raised her slightly above the audience. Projection systems activated, showing images of Earth above her head. Distinguished members of the Federation, she began, I am honored to share the cultural heritage of humanity with you today. She started with human art, displaying famous paintings and sculptures from various time periods and regions of Earth. The aliens watched with interest, but it was when she moved to music that the real reactions began. Next, you'll hear what we call jazz improvisation within structure, Jai-Hai explained as she activated a recording. The reaction was immediate and surprising. Some aliens covered their auditory organs, seemingly overwhelmed. Others began swaying in apparent pleasure. A group of insectoid delegates clicked their mandibles rapidly in what Jai-Hai later learned was their expression of deep interest. Fascinating, Elder Doyen commented when the music ended. Your species creates art that embraces both chaos and order simultaneously. Most Federation cultures prefer one or the other. Jai-Hai continued, explaining human literature next. She shared stories from different cultures, ancient myths, modern novels, poetry. Again, the aliens seemed captivated by the human ability to blend reality with imagination. You create untrue stories intentionally, asked a confused reptilian delegate. Why spread falsehoods? Fiction isn't meant to deceive, Jai-Hai explained patiently. It helps us explore ideas, emotions, and possibilities. Through imaginary stories, we often find deeper truths. The concept seemed difficult for many aliens to grasp. In most Federation cultures, communication was strictly practical or historical. The human concept of creative storytelling was novel to them. When Jai-Hai began explaining human family bonds and friendships, the confusion in the room grew even more pronounced. Humans form deep emotional attachments to non-relatives, asked a floating jellyfish-like being. Without biological necessity? Yes, Jai-Hai confirmed. Friendship is central to human experience. We create families beyond blood relations. But what is the evolutionary advantage? Pressed another delegate. Juno stepped forward. May I? He asked Jai-Hai, who nodded. He pulled out a small photograph from his pocket. This is my family, he explained, showing the image of himself with his wife and adopted child. My son has no genetic connection to me, but I would give my life to protect him. That bond makes both of us stronger. A murmur spread through the audience. The concept seemed revolutionary to many species present. During the reception that followed, Jai found herself surrounded by curious aliens asking questions about human customs, relationships, and creative expressions. "Your species is full of contradictions," remarked Elder Doyen, approaching with a drink. "You create art celebrating peace while your military innovations impress our generals. You compete fiercely with each other yet cooperate better than most Federation species." Jai smiled. "Contradiction is part of being human. We contain multitudes." "Some Federation members find this disturbing," Doyen said quietly. "They prefer predictability. There's a faction growing concerned about human influence spreading too quickly." "We're just sharing our culture," Jai replied. "As all members do." Doyen's skin rippled with colors that suggested concern. "Your ideas spread differently. Already younger members of various species request human music, stories, and art. They ask about friendship and romantic love, concepts many cultures find disruptive." Later that evening, in her quarters, Jai recorded in her journal, "The Federation finds us as puzzling as we find them. They're fascinated by our creativity and emotional connections, but also wary. They don't yet understand that our contradictions, our ability to hold opposing ideas simultaneously, might be our greatest strength. They're watching us closely now. Not just for what we can do in battle against the void, but for how we think and feel and create. Cultural exchange may prove more revolutionary than any technology we bring to the stars." The sky over Seoul turned black at exactly 10:17 in the morning. Not from clouds, but from the massive Void Collective ships that appeared suddenly above the city. Similar scenes played out simultaneously across Earth. New York, Lagos, Sydney, Moscow, all witnessed the same terrifying sight. Sirens blared across Seoul as emergency services activated. Citizens rushed for shelters, following protocols established after Earth joined the Galactic Federation. Military forces scrambled to defensive positions, though everyone knew Earth's weapons would be little match for the Void Collective. In his underground laboratory beneath Seoul National University, physicist Jun worked frantically at his console. 3 years of research was about to face its ultimate test. His team moved around him with urgent purpose, checking equipment and running final calculations. "The quantum shield generator isn't ready," said his assistant, wiping sweat from her brow. "We needed another month of testing." Jun didn't look up from his work. "We don't have a month. We have minutes." Meanwhile, in the Federation Council chamber across the galaxy, an emergency session had been called. Minister Hanul, Earth's representative, stood alone at the central podium. The chamber's tiered seating held delegates from hundreds of worlds, many already talking over each other in panic. "The Void Collective has launched a direct assault on Earth," Hanul announced, her voice cutting through the noise. "We request immediate Federation assistance." Elder Tejo, now the council leader, raised his six-fingered hand for silence. "The council is aware of the situation. Unfortunately, our defense forces are currently engaged in protecting core Federation worlds. Earth is a Federation member," Hanul reminded them, her voice steady despite her fear. Another counselor stood, his reptilian features impassive. "Earth is a provisional member only, and located in a strategically expendable region. The Federation cannot divert resources to protect one peripheral world when central planets are threatened." Hanul looked around the chamber, seeing many representatives avoiding her gaze. "You're abandoning Earth to the void?" "We are making necessary strategic decisions," Elder Tejo said, his tone gentle but firm. "A rescue fleet will be dispatched when possible, though it may not arrive for several days." "Earth will be destroyed in hours," Hanul said. The council fell silent. Everyone knew she was right. Back on Earth, the first void weapons struck major cities. Energy beams sliced through buildings, while strange dark clouds descended to streets, dissolving anything they touched. Conventional military responses proved useless, missiles were intercepted before reaching the void ships, and fighter jets were swatted from the sky. In his laboratory, Jun received the call he'd been dreading. The secure line connected directly to General Yunji at Defense Command. "How much longer, Doctor?" the general asked, her voice tense but controlled. Through the connection, June could hear explosions in the background. The quantum shield isn't fully tested, he explained. The theory is sound, but theory doesn't matter now, General Yunji interrupted. Seoul's eastern district has already fallen. Western districts will follow within the hour. Is there any chance your shield will work? June looked at the massive machine taking up half the laboratory, the culmination of combining Federation science with human ingenuity. It was designed to create a quantum field that would theoretically disrupt the unique energy patterns used in void weapons. There's a chance, he admitted. But it might fail catastrophically. Deploy it, she ordered. We have nothing left to lose. June gave the order. His team activated the sequence while he made final adjustments. The massive generator hummed to life, consuming enormous power as it built up energy. Quantum field initializing, reported a technician. Coverage expanding from Seoul outward. June watched the monitors as the invisible shield spread across South Korea, then beyond. Power stations across the globe, connected in a network designed for this moment, fed energy into the system. Above Seoul, a void ship prepared to fire its main weapon at the city center. The devastating beam lanced downward, but instead of destruction, something unexpected happened. The beam struck an invisible barrier and dispersed, spreading harmlessly into the atmosphere in a spectacular display of light. The void ships fired again, and again the energy dissipated against the quantum shield. When Ambassador Taeho's rescue fleet arrived 3 days later, they expected to find Earth devastated. Instead, they found the planet intact, void ships still in orbit but unable to penetrate the shimmering barrier now visible even to the naked eye. From his command ship, Taeho stared in disbelief at Earth's defenses. Impossible, he whispered. This technology shouldn't exist for centuries in their development timeline. His science officer looked equally stunned. Humans should not have been able to create a functional quantum disruption field. It defies all developmental models. Ambassador Taeho watched as the void ships, frustrated by their failure, began to retreat. I believe, he said slowly, we have significantly underestimated humanity. Here's an 800-word narrative in simple English, focusing on humanity's potential ascendance. The world had changed beyond recognition. Decades of technological breakthroughs had transformed human existence in ways no one could have imagined. Solar stations orbiting the Earth beamed clean energy back to the planet, ending centuries of fossil fuel dependency. Massive vertical farms in cities produced food with unprecedented efficiency, solving global hunger. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the window of her research station, watching a team of engineers prepare for humanity's most ambitious project yet. They were preparing to terraform a section of Mars, creating the first sustainable human colony beyond Earth. Her team had developed revolutionary nanotechnologies that could convert the harsh Martian environment into something habitable. The global cooperation that made this possible was itself a miracle. Nations that once fought bitterly had learned to work together, recognizing that human survival depended on collective action. Climate restoration projects had transformed deserts into green landscapes, and advanced carbon capture technologies had begun reversing global warming. Robotic assistants worked alongside humans everywhere. These weren't just simple machines, but intelligent systems that could learn, adapt, and collaborate. In hospitals, they performed complex surgeries with precision impossible for human hands. In research laboratories, they helped scientists solve complex problems faster than ever before. Genetic engineering had opened incredible possibilities. Inherited diseases were becoming things of the past. Children were born with enhanced immune systems and genetic protections against numerous health conditions. Medical treatments could now be personalized at the cellular level, dramatically increasing human life expectancy. Young people grew up in a world where technology and nature coexisted harmoniously. Virtual reality classrooms allowed students to explore historical events as if they were actually there. They could walk through ancient Rome, witness the moon landing, or explore deep ocean environments, all without leaving their learning spaces. The space program had become humanity's greatest adventure. Unmanned probes explored distant solar systems, sending back incredible data about potential habitable planets. The first human missions to Mars were no longer a dream but a carefully planned reality. Astronauts trained in advanced simulation environments, preparing for challenges no previous generation had ever faced. Communication technologies had bridged cultural gaps like never before. Real-time translation devices allowed people from different countries to speak seamlessly, breaking down language barriers. Global understanding and empathy had increased dramatically as people could easily connect and share experiences across continents. Renewable energy technologies had reached unprecedented efficiency. Wind turbines, solar panels, and ocean current generators provided clean, sustainable power. Countries that were once dependent on oil exports had successfully transformed their economies, investing in green technologies and scientific research. Artificial intelligence played a crucial role in solving complex global challenges. Advanced algorithms helped predict and mitigate potential environmental disasters, managed agricultural production, and optimized resource distribution. These systems worked not to replace humans, but to enhance human capabilities and decision-making. Dr. Rodriguez watched her team prepare the Mars landing module. Each team member represented a different part of the world, from Brazil, India, China, Nigeria, and the United States. They moved with precision, their specialized suits reflecting the sunlight. This mission represented more than just a scientific expedition, it symbolized humanity's collective potential. As the massive spacecraft prepared for its journey, Elena felt a mix of excitement and hope. Humanity had overcome tremendous challenges: climate crisis, political conflicts, technological disruptions. Now, they stood on the brink of becoming a multiplanetary species. The dream of human expansion beyond Earth was becoming reality. The launch would happen in just a few hours. Millions around the world would watch, connected through advanced streaming technologies. This wasn't just a mission, it was a testament to human resilience, creativity, and collective ambition. Humanity had transformed itself. From a species that once seemed destined for self-destruction, they had become architects of their own future. Technology, compassion, and collaborative spirit had rewritten their story. And now, standing at the threshold of a new era, they were ready to take their next great leap. The spacecraft's engines hummed with potential energy. Humanity was ready to ascend.